Welcome, everybody. I messed up. I should have hit that button a little sooner there. How are you all doing today? I am quite tired. It was a very not great night for me. Whew. All right. So today, we are going to be talking about how you can when I changed up things and how those changes have affected pretty much everything. So I am looking forward to talking about that. Good morning, everybody who's just coming on and watching. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the chat. Would love to hear what you got going on this morning, if it's morning there. And yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking about some of the different changes and things that have changed over the years. And yeah, so this episode of the Indiepod Daily Show is brought to you by Indiepod University. Go to indiepodu.com to learn and work with myself to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast. Can you tell I feel like I'm out of sync. Like I feel like it's like I got like a buffering thing going on there. Oh man. So yeah, so this episode is all about when to change things up. And I wanted to talk about a handful of things. I've wrote some notes here on the side. When I decided to change things up. So one of the most notable ones is what you're watching right now, which is the Indiepod Daily Show, which used to be called the Mid-Atlantic Podcast. I think I forget what the original name of the show was. It was the Mid-Atlantic Conference Podcast or something to that effect. And the whole idea, the original idea, was just bring on podcasters from the community and have a chat, talk, like learn some things, have a good time, interview them about their podcasting journey and all that. And over time, it changed. In fact, this show had a different hosts. It had Amy J. Shout out to Amy J. It had Chia Dagwu as a host for a while I was commandeering becoming a new dad, a new father. And yeah, and it, so things have certainly changed, right? In this past September, I made the change to change the show or change the conference from Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference to Independent Podcast Conference, which, good morning, Regina. How are you this morning? Which has been an incredible, rocket ship. In fact, one of the reasons I'm wearing the shirt that I'm wearing is because it is the original 2015 Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference shirt. And I thought it was kind of fitting that I'd be talking about when to change things up and wear this shirt today. So I felt like it was time for a bit of a change. Every year I would get these emails from people that would say, "Hey, is it okay if I come to this conference? I live in not the Mid-Atlantic states. Can I come to this event?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can. Like, that's just where it's held. It's not, beholden to people that are just in that, because podcasting is universal. Podcasting is a global thing, right? It's part of the global community, the internet. So I, I'm like, all right, well, you absolutely can come. You should totally come to the conference. And we had people come, but we also had people that probably didn't come because they felt like it did not speak to them. Which, shout out to Icon Eric Hunley, who I had on this past Thursday for a Wisdom Wednesday on a Thursday. And, he pushed me in that direction as well. Like, hey, maybe, you should really push this whole independent thing because there seems to be a gap there in the market, and you could totally like swoop in because like literally that's what you got going on. That's who you're catering to, is those independent podcasters to begin with. And even for anyone who doesn't know, the first conference we ever had people from Florida. Brent Basham from Pod came all the way from Georgia, and other people came in from Georgia. So like we had people from outside of the Mid Atlantic area at the first event back in 2015. And in the second year, we had people from California, and we had people from the UK. So there were, and actually all over the country, because even Texas was in the house, and South Dakota, and Washington State. So yeah. So sometimes it just. And it can be scary, right? To want to make those changes. You're like, hey, what I got is like it's working, but like, could it be working so much better with just a small change to what the name or what to the branding or the messaging is to your thing? Whatever that thing is. Is it your podcast? Is it your business? Is it whatever that thing is? Maybe it's your life as a whole, right? Like maybe it's time for just a small tweak, a small change to get you to that next level that you just didn't even realize was a possibility, because you're like, oh, well, I'm still seeing growth, but like maybe you could be having so much more growth. Now, another change was after this whole coronavirus thing broke out and shut down Disney World and things, were starting to shut down, like, I was like, oh, well, we never held a virtual conference before. And I recall, I wanted to do that, plan for that shortly after the end of the MapCon 5, the 2019 event in September. And my team was like, why don't you focus on September? We're gonna get we're gonna really gun and go for a lot more people in the crowd, and this might, doing an event in January or February might take away from that. And I'm like, oh, I guess. I saw it as a building block, but turns out COVID happened, and we were able to do that. We were able to put together an event where the goal was to grow the group, and we absolutely have grown the group since then. So one of the things I wanted to point out was, like, sometimes when it comes to making a change, you have to be confident in what why you're doing that change and what the goal with that change is trying to accomplish. So you don't want to necessarily get all hung up on, like, oh, well, it has to be similar to this thing because that's the way it's always been and that's the way it'll work and all that. So I would wholeheartedly say, do not let yourself get hung up on the idea that things have to be the way they were just in order to continue to grow, and definitely get feedback, right? Like, that definitely helps. Just asking other people, and everyone's going to have a different opinion, right? Like, if you take your cover artwork and you throw it up on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, and you ask for opinions, like, everybody's going to have a different opinion about whether it's good or bad or not. And at the end of the day, like, if those people aren't the people that are listening or the people that are going to interact with your show on a daily basis, then it doesn't really matter, their opinion, that much. Just like your opinion as the creator only matters so much. And the fact of the matter is trying to keep things as simple as possible is imperative, because you're not Disney, right? Like, people don't really know your brand or anything like that. So keeping it as simplistic as possible so that people can understand it, make a decision. I like this, I don't like this, and move on to hopefully dealing with you more or not dealing with you more. Either way, honestly, is not the end of the world. But you want to move the needle on people's emotions and their thoughts. So with that said, another change I made was back in 2017 after I won the Business Podcast of the Year award. I decided to try to like, oh, I'm gonna up my game, right? Like my show was called Dreamers Podcast, and it was like, okay, it's business lessons from those that live their dreams. Why don't I simplify all of that down to just business with Super Joe Pardo? And I think that maybe the reinvention of that wasn't strong enough. I probably could have spent some money on some graphic designs from shout out to Larry Roberts from Readily Random Graphics, who I did not know at the time. To go and upgrade that whole image outside of outside of what I was able to put together and all that. So, did it work the way I was hoping it would? No, it didn't. And ultimately, I wanted to, after 2 years of doing that, I decided to come back to the Dreamers Podcast, and about a year later, decided to just change it to just the Super Joe Pardo Show and brand it completely under my name, and made it, shorter, like in theory, than Business with Super Joe Pardo. So, the logic behind that, and actually, in actuality, it's actually starting to work, because between the Readily Random provided graphics that I had created, and just all of the business lessons and everything are all like, it's all coming ever since I updated the title and the graphics and everything. The downloads have gone up. So and that's with little marketing on my part of the show. So yeah, I think that when you're thinking about making a change, and again, go back to like Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference, the Independent Podcast Conference, like same mission, same everything, just a slightly different name, one word difference, and bam, more people identify with it and more people want to be a part of it. So let's see, what other changes was there? So for the longest time, I created virtual tickets going back to the beginning of MapCon, Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference, like even this first one, right? There's all the videos are there. So I always had these virtual tickets, and I would sell them, but I wouldn't sell a ton of them. They just, some people would buy them, really appreciate them. I would use it as an upgrade ticket, and people would go and download them after the fact. And so it worked, but it was about a month or so into doing these virtual conferences every other week that I was like, hey, why don't I take all these tickets? I already created a multi virtual ticket pack, like that I had sold a bunch of. And was like, what if I took those and took them away from like a platform that's charging a percentage and a fee and all that stuff, and it just doesn't really, it's taking you off my site, and just create it all in-house under the one, independentpodcastconference.com, which now, speaking of another change, indiepodcasters.com. Excuse me. So that enabled me to be able to provide video content, keep it all under one brand, one house, and in a membership format, so that like I could dish out memberships to people for 3 or 6 months or whatever with their ticket to one of our in-person events, and enables me to not have to handle any extra cost, plus puts them in the in that space to be like, oh, well, maybe I will keep it going after the fact, right? Keep my membership going after the fact. Which to me is, it's helpful. It's better because I was using Gumroad, which Gumroad is great. You can host as much video content as you want, for free effectively. And you just pay the fee when you sell something, and you get your money in like 2 or 3 days. It's not bad. Gumroad is actually pretty great if you don't have a way of knowing how to provide this content through your website, whether it's through WooCommerce or web, a membership plugin for WordPress or some other way. So, I was like, great, like I can bring everything, put it under one roof, and I'm going to call it the Indiepod University. And then like 2 months went by, and I was like, I think I want to create a more hands-on approach. Before that, originally, I had baked in a lot of things into the Indiepod University that ultimately I was like, well, I want to keep, the original thought was like, I'm going to keep the Indiepod University as a cheaper membership that I can dish out to people, over time, like when they buy their podcast tickets and stuff, or podcast conference tickets and things like that. Well, ultimately, I was like, all right, I want to create a level up platform, and I'll go play off the the Super Joe Pardo name, so that the whole idea was like, okay, so there's this Indiepod University, it's like $10 a month or $15 a month, whatever it is, something in that that neighborhood. And then you have the Supercharge Your Podcast program, where you get to like work one-on-one with me, and you get to do you get a whole separate community to join in and all that. So originally I was going to have some of that stuff that ended up in the Supercharger Your Podcast over in the Indiepod University, and I was going to like, okay, I was like, oh, I don't want to have to run multiple communities if I don't have to, and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make it so that the Indiepod University is just the content. There's no extra like Facebook group or anything like that. Like just leave it just the content. So you're getting like 150 plus hours worth of video. Well, ultimately, and this goes back to the simplifying effect of like, okay, well, while the Supercharger podcast makes sense, to a certain extent, it doesn't extend the Indiepod brand. So it's a bit of a jump there. So it's not as simple, it's not going back to simplicity. And ultimately I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should go back to what my original thought was, which was pour a bunch more value into the Indiepod University. But now I'm doing it in a way that brings it all together. So the price right now for Indiepod University is just $9.99 a month. And it's going to be going up to $99 a month, which was what the Supercharger podcast price was. So you're going to get all the stuff that was in there, with the exception of the one-on-one time with me in the Indiepod University. And if you buy now, then it's locked in. Like that's the whole point. I wanted to give everybody that was like on the fence about buying into it an opportunity to buy in at a ridiculously, it will never be that low again, because of all the things that I want to do with that group. That's that private group that wants to take it seriously, right? To launch, to grow, and monetize their podcast and take their podcast to the next level. That's what that's for. So it's funny, like we get inside of our own heads a lot of times, we think that sometimes people will understand and be able to make those connections and make that jump and understand all the different complexities in that, but we're not Disney, right? Like we can't have the fast pass thing with like the separate app and on your phone and doing all the things and having to know all the ins and outs of how that works. And at that point you need like brand ambassadors to like help and hold hands for people that just don't know and they don't get it, because they have not they just don't have that level of experience with your brand. So keeping it as simple as possible is key. And you know what? But that's the whole point of like, you gotta be willing to try things and see like, oh, well, if the market responded really, really well to the whole Supercharger podcast program, I mean, we have a handful of members, but if it had responded better to it, then I would be more interested. Then I'd be more interested in it. But the thing is now that this ups the value of everything as a whole, because now going from having a $10 program, $15 program, whatever it is, to like a 67 and then that going up to like $100 or whatever, like in the neighborhood of $100 at some point, it just levels up everything. So now when you buy that conference ticket and you're buying into the upgraded ticket to get access to the Indiepod University, the whole thing just makes more sense, rather than trying to show like, oh, well, there's also this. Like maybe what it could have been called was like the Indiepod graduate. I don't know, to go along with the same schooling effect. But I think it just right now, I think it makes a lot of sense to keep it simple. And I already have the IndiepodUniversity.com and IndiepodU.com that enables people to like easily and quickly get there. And I am assuming that there's like claps in the chat or something because I can't see what either Regina or Larry wrote. I really wish they would add a like GIF ability here in StreamYard. So to go along with this, I'm also going to be changing up the Indiepod Daily Show. Now, why, right? What could I do that's different? And what I had to do is I had to sit back and like look at how I've been showing up for the hey Brett, good morning. Really good morning, because it's like 7:30 there. Gifts, yes, gifts. Yeah, so what I wanted to take a hard look at like how I was showing up in the community here every day, because even though we have the university and I'll be showing up in there, I don't want to Brett says get those Disney interviews up. Yeah, I will at some point when I have time to sit down and do that. So what the idea of changing up the Indiepod Daily Show is it's still going to be me showing up live in the group every day, but I wanted to free up some more time so that I could focus on getting clients for both my consulting business as well as people to get more people here in the Indiepod community. So what I'm doing is, let me preface this with, okay, there's a difference between a show and a live, right? What I'm doing right here, I consider this the show. A live would be like on Saturdays and Sundays when I do social Saturdays and shine on Sundays, where I just I grab my phone and I just start, Facebook living right into the group. So that never ends up, those Facebook lives never end up in the Indiepod Daily RSS feed. So it's not part of the podcast, and it never ends up on YouTube either. Which I might actually change that. I might investigate a little bit in how I can add those as well. Maybe probably not to the RSS feed, but at least to YouTube, because we're building a community there. I think we're almost at 30 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed yet over at the new YouTube channel, you totally should. Indiepod, you get 1 month free of Indiepod University access if you're selected on Free Ride Friday. So go check that out, indiepodcasters.com/tube. So I might make that change going forward, but ultimately, so Mondays, Motivational Mondays, will be probably a show most of the time. Maybe once in a while I will just do like the Facebook Live thing from another device other than right here in my studio. And then on Tech Tuesdays, where I would, I was talking about a different piece of camera tech or different piece of audio equipment or headphones or something tech related. What ended up happening a lot, and for anybody who has, been there for the lives, a lot of people just end up asking me about my camera, what camera are you using? What microphone are you using? And it's like, okay. So what I was thinking about with the Tech Tuesdays is instead of doing like a show based around a piece of tech, I would just do a live like I do on Saturdays and Sundays. And basically, the goal is to get more community interaction there. So what I'm asking people to do is take a shot of a piece of your tech that you use and talk about why you love it and why other people should love it too. So I don't need to be here in the studio to necessarily do that. I'll just like show up on the Facebook Live, take on a Tech Tuesday, take a picture of something that you love and why you love it. And then on Wisdom Wednesday, I have a bunch of interviews coming up, interview slash, guest experts coming up. So that's pretty locked in for a little while. I'm hoping to kind of change some of those hours so I could stop doing 8 o'clock at nights, because it's getting really old. To have to start working at like 6 a.m. and not be done until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So I kind of want to box that in a little bit more. So I'm going to be doing that, but I'm going to kind of cram in. If we don't have a interview, I will probably cram in what used to be on what was it? It was Scholarship Saturdays, right? So talking about, again, more changes, like constantly playing and reinventing. So I'll talk about a topic. I'll talk about a piece of tech too. So like that's the day where it's like, okay, if I have a guest expert coming in, that's awesome. If I don't, well, here's where we're gonna get one topic for the weekend. And then on Training Thursday, I have a bunch of those still, like the coaching sessions lined up. But I will probably back those down to just like 2 times a month. So like every other week or so, like that. And then I haven't figured out, like I'm still trying to figure out like what I'm going to do for Training Thursday, but I don't have to I'm not pressed for time to figure that out because we have people lined up for that for a while. So like Brett Allen, shout out to Brett Allen. He's going to be on this upcoming Thursday's Training Thursday, and then we have one and one and one. So like the next time I don't have one scheduled is August 27th right now. so it'll be a while before I have to like really figure out like what is a Training Thursday going to look like, and maybe what a Training Thursday is if I don't have somebody lined up or for those off weeks, maybe I'll just come in and ask for a podcasting tip from the community, right? To just get, comment in the comments, one podcasting tip. So Free Ride Friday was where I was doing Q&A, and what I want to do to kind of plus up the value to the Indiepod University is, while I still have Free Ride Friday, I'll be giving away 1 free month of Indiepod University every single Friday to a community member right now the goal is for you to subscribe to indiepodcasters.com/tube. While I won't be doing Q&A, I will be doing a wrap up of the week, and I'll be giving out a free ride to the community. And then later that day, I'll be doing a Q&A inside of the Indiepod University. So that will most likely just be a Facebook, like a live, from my phone kind of thing, rather than sitting here in front of my mic and the cameras and the lights and actions. Playing with all of the formatting and stuff. And again, this is so that I can create more value in the Indiepod University for those members, as well as for myself with the timing, because it takes a lot less time for me to like open up my phone and just do a quick 5-minute video Facebook Live than it does to like turn the cameras on, turn the lights on, get everything set up. I mean, I have it pretty down, but then I also don't feel like I need to maybe have do the thumbnail right out of the gate either. So it's just one of those things where it's like I really feel that I can provide more value with doing this, because and fostering the community more, rather than just shouldering as much as humanly possible on myself. Not that I can't come up with topics, because there's no shortage of that in my I use Trello, so like in my task lists, yeah. I can talk. But I just feel that, I want to foster more community, and I want to foster more time on my part to do my part in building the business side, rather than just the providing the value side of content and experience and all of that. So that's how I'm justifying, because like full disclosure, full honesty, like it definitely. Oh yes, hey, what's up, regular? Yes, I love Trello as well. It is fantastic. Full disclosure, like I don't ever want to feel like I'm not showing up for the people that care a lot about the community and about me and about the people in the community and all of that, right? Like I want to show up constantly, and I want to be able to provide tons of value and in-depth looks at things and all of that. But in order to do that, like there's got to be more money coming in for it. So part of it is focusing that attention time, that time into the business end of it. So yeah, so for right now, it's gonna I'll be still going live in the group every day. It's just going to be a little bit different for anybody that missed it. Tech Tuesday will be me asking the community to share a piece of their tech and why they love it, and then the Free Ride Friday will be a wrap up of the week, talking about like the Wisdom Wednesday that we did, the training Thursday lessons that came out, and the motivational Monday, which today is all about when to change. When does it make sense to change? And again, change can be scary. One thing I did if you missed it, I announced that my intentions to make Indiepod its own business. Instead of being a branch of my business and kind of doing some things with it, maybe half of the year or so, to really put a bunch of time and effort into growing it and making it its own standalone business. So that's why I put an open letter out, because I feel that that's one of the ways that I can communicate how I feel, how my intentions, and document it, right? So like, hey, it's if anyone's hey, Joe is like he's he's just trying to, this is just a money grab for him, like it's not. It's not. Like, go read the letter. I think it's indiepodcasters.com/open. I don't know if that still works. Let me see. Yeah. Looks like it's going to open. Yes, it opened. So people are welcome to go, and I encourage you, if you haven't read that letter, go and do it, because there's a whole bunch in there talking about revenue streams and how I structured it so that would be that's how this ship is going to sail in a faster way than it has over the last 5, almost 6 years of its creation. So, with all that said, embrace change. Like it can be so, everything can be so much better, and so again, always be looking to simplify things. One other thing that's another change that I made is that and this, nobody probably even realized that this was the case, but the Indiepod Apparel shop is going to be on its own. I moved it to its own website, but I haven't put the stuff out yet. So I need to like recreate some of the shirts and the offerings and things on there. So there's going to be more coming from that's one of the reasons, if you have been playing along at home with your news, what do they call this? Like the news slider or news ticker. You haven't seen this one much, the podcaster merch over at youricongear.com, because the site is currently it's still in limbo, and I gotta create the items and get things up and running for it. So the site's pretty much up and running. There's no items on it at the moment because I have to do some transitions. So looking forward to getting that up and running, because I know some people were asking me about some of the t-shirts and stuff that I've worn and where they can get it, but it's it's just not available at the moment. But if you did have a special request, let me know, because I do actually have quite a few. I don't think any of these shirts are left, but there's quite a few other past Indiepod shirts, or MapCon shirts, I should say, available out there. So anyway, this is all been about when to change, why to change, all about embracing change. And I'm, the one change I need to do is I need to get a shave and a haircut soon-ish. But so thank you all for coming along with me on this journey of the change and the testing and seeing what works and seeing how things play out. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, and I'm excited to be able to better serve as many people in the icon community as possible. This episode is brought to you by the Indiepod University. Go check out indiepodu.com if you want to launch, grow, and monetize your podcast. There's over 150 video resources. There's weekly Q&A sessions with me, like group calls, and so much more in there. Go and check it out, indiepodu.com. And if you want to get a free ride into that university, then go over to indiepodcasters.com/tube and get yourself subscribed to the YouTube channel. And I will be picking another winner this upcoming week to get a free 1 month free ride into the Indiepod University. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And remember that you are a podcaster. And as a podcaster, that means you are a leader. And as a leader, you should be leading with love. Take care, everybody.